Hey gang, it's Bob Bannister with you for another edition of Rock Talk, brought to you by Rock Is Not Dead Australia and CGCM Rock Radio. Hey, do us a favor, click the like, share, and subscribe button, leave us a comment, keep up to date with all things Rock Talk, all things Rock Is Not Dead Australia, and all things CGCM Rock Radio. Even drop us a line, let us know, is there somebody you'd like us to catch up with? We're always game to do something like that. Now, this time around, Shane Dunn from Rock Is Not Dead Australia said to me, Bob, you've got to catch up with these guys. These guys are absolutely amazing. I'll set you up with them. You can sit down, you can have a chat. They are right down to earth and they are so much fun. And you know what? I was a little bit intimidated when he first said this. I'd heard the name of the band and I thought, wow, am I able to do this? And then I got talking to the band and I realized very, very quickly, these guys are exactly like Shane said, right down to earth, so much fun, very friendly, very cool guys. The band I'm talking about is Bengal Tigers, and I caught up with Gord and Rob from the band. So let's step inside the studio and have a chat with Bengal Tigers on this edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock Is Not Dead Australia. And as promised on this edition of Rock Talk, boy, oh boy, are we in for a treat. We are joined by a band from Melbourne, Australia. We have got the band Bengal Tigers joining us. We have got Rob. We have got Gordon with us. Guys, welcome into Rock Talk. It is an absolute honor to have you here.
Hey, Bob.
I'm sure it is.
Sing up with the ego.
Cheeky bugger. So, tell us the story of Bengal Tigers for those people that might have been living under a rock and don't know the story of the band.
We formed in late '79, almost 1980. I'm the only original member, and Yuri, the guitarist, who's been in the band for 30 odd years. So what does that make?
He's like Brian Johnson in AC/DC, still the new guy.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we released an independent EP, Metal Fetish. Then we were picked up by Mushroom Records, and we weren't allowed to sell them, it was 500 copies, which I've still got a few copies left, and I've repackaged and we're moving them along, so they're not just sitting around doing nothing, or being turned into vinyl ashtrays. Since then we gigged a lot back in the 80s, and we broke up for a bit. This is going to be a very short synopsis.
That's okay.
But we were never far away from reforming. And we've probably been together reformed for the last. I've skipped a couple of albums and things we did.
That's all
It's
fun.
always been in the blood.
Yep.
And Bengals have never actually gone away. They've always been doing something somewhere. But in the last probably 10 years or so, 12 years maybe, become much more prolific in actually getting out doing live performances and getting serious about touring and getting out and about.
That's the In the Blood remake CD.
It's a terrible big.
This is the re-release of Metal Fetish on CD.
Never available then because CDs weren't invented back then.
Very cool.
And somewhere there's Cry Havoc and In the Blood and all sorts of, yeah. We've had vinyl copies.
Lucky we were prepared for it,
Yeah.
hey?
Oh boy, when you mentioned people making vinyl ashtrays and stuff like that, that just makes me cry because I've got my 45s all up here and all my collection of vinyl over here somewhere. Trying to point behind me here. And
Yep.
that's just to me that's a travesty. No, don't destroy the vinyl. I don't care if it's Engelbert Humperdinck or Glenn Miller Band or whomever. Don't destroy the vinyl.
Couldn't agree more.
Strangely, you mentioned Engelbert Humperdinck. I've actually got an Engelbert Humperdinck LP.
So with that being said, then who would you say is your guilty music pleasure then? I mean, I,
Engelbert
I got to
Humperdinck.
admit, I'm a rocker through and through, but I absolutely love Linda Ronstadt.
Tom Jones for me.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, I'll go for you on that one. Gee, for me, my guilty pleasures. I've got too many of the old school. See, I still love Fleetwood Mac stuff.
Oh yeah.
Um, I like
Keith
Dean
Street.
Martin. I played Dean Martin stuff, and I just want a total change for everything else, and I really enjoy that.
I left a floater on a train. What a great line that is.
The funny thing is,
I
my
left a
wife and I,
floater on the train.
my wife and I were talking about stuff like that, about the some of the old songs and stuff like that earlier today, and it's like our parents and grandparents and stuff like that, they always said, oh, we were more civilized than you were. It's like, no, you weren't. Just listen to some of the music. There's a lot of hints there that you were not as civilized.
There was something on Facebook the other day about maybe it's cold outside, the old classic. How
Yes.
it was actually entrapment. The guy was really not letting her go.
Oh yeah.
I can't
Radio.
get why the Beatles couldn't hold each other's hand, and now you can gang bang someone's grandmother somewhere.
Yeah.
So what?
And we're more civilized.
Yeah, really. So who would you guys say that you draw your major influences from musically?
You're a bit older than me. Gordon's a little bit older than I am, so he goes back a couple of years more than me. But go on.
Oh, yeah, Priest was always been my sort of we sort of grown up with them and followed them all the way through. Scorpions.
Yeah, so you're good hard rock, heavy
Yeah.
metal, late 70s, I suppose. When you're starting your new wave of British heavy metal stuff that was making an impact, from what I can gather and what I know of the history for Bengals, that was probably an influence that created their sound back then. They were trying to be more newer than traditional old school. So
We're
like
trying to
Deep
get
Purple and
the
stuff.
new wave of British heavy metal. That we were sort of trying to more that than Aussie pub rock, which was pretty big back in the 80s.
Yeah, it was a step differently from that, definitely. And to move forward from there, it's always been classic. I actually get off on letting people review different albums, particularly the new one, Try Havoc, because I'm on
Mhm.
it. But they'll compare it to stuff that they know and that they've grown up with, etc. And it seems a very common theme that right through the whole catalogue, they say you've just kept this old school classic heavy metal sound, and it's
Hmm.
refreshing 40 years later that you're still getting that exact same vibe, just with a bit more edge and a little bit more production, but still keeping true to what it is, which I find flattering in its own way, because that is what we are. That's what we've grown up with and love. And to be able to reproduce it, there's another generation or two that have come through that didn't get the chance to grow up with it. So hopefully they hear something new and delve back a little deeper again and just get a kick out of all that fantastic music that still stands the test of time today. And Bengal's a part of it, of course. So
And having said that, I wouldn't have thought that the new album Cry Havoc, we didn't overproduce it. We wanted to have a sort of big fat bass and drum sound, which I think that's well and truly achieved.
Mm.
And there's not too much shit on the vocals, no fairy dust. Though I did appreciate, because I mean, the last time I recorded something was analog, so the digital version is so much easier and quicker to do. And I go, I don't like that line, I don't like that note I've done there. I'll just go back and do it again. No. Here, I'll just tweak this knob.
there wasn't much of that.
No, there was very little of it.
Just pick your best out of three, and they were
Yeah.
really good. Most of the time, you say, "Wow, wish I could do that."
You get anal though with it, you do. You sort of go, oh.
Well,
I've listened to it last night.
it's like that for us guys in radio too. I mean, if we take something and we don't like it, we can easily change it digitally instead of going back and rereading the entire script all over again like we had to do like 20, 30 years ago,
Yeah, yeah. It's a whole new, it's a brave new world, isn't it? And it gives you, you can do a lot in a short amount of time.
Yes.
So, a couple of weekends, we pretty much recorded the whole album.
We had done a fair bit of homework on the new album prior to going in, but we'd set out our new drummer, Justin Lincoln's, is a taskmaster of sorts, and he really got momentum back into the band in a big way and just said, no, this is not going to take 6 months, this will be 2 months, and we go, let's book some time and strive to get it, which really the ability's always been within the musicians within the band. It was just the drive to actually have a definitive outcome. And Justin was really good at pushing to get it moving.
Fucking pain in the ass in a really nice way.
Yeah, it was fantastic because we actually got stuff done, which for 6 or 7 years prior to that was just ideas that were floating. Yeah. We know what we should do. And suddenly we're touring around the world and around Australia, of course, and releasing writing new songs currently for the next album, and really getting a kick out of that. So, hats off to Justin for cracking the whip and getting us going. But yeah, we had to condense a lot of stuff into a shorter time frame than what was comfortable, and I think it pushed the creativity within us all to come forward.
Yeah.
If you had an idea, now's the time to do it, and it's good. And we really amazed ourselves with how good stuff sounded when we just tweaked a little thing here and there whilst in the studio. All the skeleton stuff was down, but just let's have a dead stop here and let's repeat that. And then what's the solo? Let's change the solo here. There was a bit of on-the-fly stuff that was with a really good creative intent behind it. And we just were amazed ourselves on playback going, that sounds brilliant. Well done, everyone.
And I think Yuri, even admits it himself that he's the world's biggest procrastinator. He's a guitarist. That some of the stuff that he did, we didn't even know what the solos were. He was just sort of noodling in the rehearsal room. But what he put down on the album, we get to the solo part, and I'm just sort of go, what's that? Where did that come from? That wasn't there yesterday. And pretty much all the work he did on that, and he put it under pressure. He's just shone. He's even I'm a fan of Yuri's playing, but some of the tasteful stuff that he did was just really amazing and really original too.
And he actually put the time in to create 3-part harmonies and stuff, which he can't do when we rehearse and stuff, because he's on his own and he doesn't use a looper. But just the ideas, it goes, now just drop me in here, and I've done that. And he worked at home, which was fantastic because I don't.
And the Gregorian chants that we put down, we did it really quickly. Yeah, we did it all. It's all us doing it, and we did it in 5 minutes. And
a good little anecdote: the guys in the studio recording when one of the partners came in, he said, "Check this out. How long has it been since you've seen 4 musos standing around a microphone doing gang vocals?" It's usually layered and done on the computer. He goes, "They're actually doing it live," which I thought, well, doesn't that happen anymore? But apparently not so common, which was it was good, and we got a buzz out of just the playback on that. I've got little snippets of footage of us in the playback booth listening to it, and just the looks of mesmerisation on their faces and stuff. Going, wow, that's really good.
Yeah, as we blended it all, put all the different harmonies together, the 3 or 4 different harmonies that were in it. So
more mesmerising for me because I'm not much of a singer. So if it sounded good, I was really stoked.
Sometimes the old school approach like that
sounds like it's sampled, but it's not.
Sometimes that old school approach is definitely the best. Like you said, you could have done it all individually, but get together and do it all as one. It just brings a little more magic, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It was a really fun time doing that recording.
It was, yeah.
So is your songwriting process something like you all come into the studio to do, or do you come with completed songs or mostly completed songs?
By the time we hit the studio, they're completed. But prior to that, we bring in ideas and we work them up from there. So there's a real collaboration. Justin's bringing in a lot of new stuff, which is really nice.
Justin writes with a good friend of his. Justin being a drummer, the amount of material he brings in with "What do you think of this?" is amazing. I've never experienced that from a drummer previously, purely because they can't tell you how it goes on the drum kit. But he's bringing demos and stuff in, which if something tickles our fancy, fantastic. And we have used a few of the collabs that he's brought in and developed them further. And a good pat on the back there is the people that have collaborated on those with him. So that's absolutely amazing what you guys have done with what was someone else's joint idea originally to turn it into our own. And but I find you can do a 3-chord song and it sounds like 3 million other 3-chord songs, or you can play it nicely and add an interesting vocal melody over the top, and suddenly it's a hit 3-chord song as opposed to meh. And that's just the creativity you all throw together on it, which I think it's really fun working with the guys in Bengals because everybody does have ideas on let's try this here, and what are you doing? Let's actually stop and go back and say, why doesn't that work? Or that's not doing it for me. Can we find something else? So in the end, everybody tends to buy into it. And I think you need to be able to put your heart and soul into it and take it around the world to play it. You've got to believe in what you're doing and get a kickback out of it. And watching people sing along or the time's right, fists in the air on this one and they all do it. That's a really good bit of feedback from the crowd that's your pay sort of get something back from the audience and some appreciation for all the hard work and the love that you put into it.
Absolutely.
With songs like "Cry Havoc," because I write a lot of lyrics that I've got, many songs that I write, and Justin's taken "Cry Havoc" is my thing and turned that into the song. Same with "Heartbreak in Belgium." So he's taken. I flick songs at him, he flicks songs at me. But he's actually putting music to them, where I'm just writing. I'm not putting music to it, but
right.
I can play, but I don't by popular demand.
He's got more guitars than anyone I've ever seen. And amps.
Quality guitars too. No Fenders. All Gibsons and some unusual things, but that could be we could do another podcast where we could bring them all out.
Take you through the collection.
Exactly. Hey, look at this one. You just reminded me, there's a podcast out there with Alex Lifeson, and he's showing off his current guitar collection. He says, "Oh, I've only got a few of them." Meanwhile, he's got a wall behind him, and there's got to be at least 50 or 60 guitars hanging on the wall behind him.
You've never got them all, so you're still working on it.
Yeah, I've got about 60 thereabouts-ish, but my wife's in earshot, so 50, 40.
So one of our sponsors here on CGCM Rock Radio is Iron Maiden Trooper Beer. And as everybody knows,
we had that.
Pardon me?
We had that at the Cart and Horses in London.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. And as everybody knows, Yannick, the third guitarist for Maiden, is the guy that will fall off the stage or drop his guitar or something like that. We call those the Yannick moments. Have you guys had a Yannick moment on stage?
I've been asked this before, and he always goes blank. And then when you're driving somewhere to the next gig, he goes, "Remember that time?" There's 1,000 things that have happened.
Well, when Steve Tyler, the original bass player who passed away about this time last year, actually, so God rest his soul, and the big bass heaven in the sky. We were playing at one of the country venues, and the stage opened up, and I looked around, and he had been swallowed, and just his head and his guitar was still above playing. Because you never stop playing. Never. You've got to keep going.
Absolutely.
I have stumbled on and off stage at least half a dozen times, just missing footing. I have been running back to my microphone at one point, and Gordon was standing on my lead and just tore it from the socket. So we try to use wireless systems where we can, but just some moments. They're not super funny ones though. There's always funnier stuff that comes to you later.
I've got a good one. Back in the day when we used to do these country venues before we got signed with our last manager, And there's a place called Leeton, which is a leagues club where they give they're basically clubs subsidised by pokie machines back in those days. And I think the crew were buying Scotch and Cokes. They had trays of 20 or 30 of them for 30 cents each. So the crew was absolutely shit-faced. And the guy that was doing the effects, we had flames coming out of the drum riser and bombs going off everywhere. I've had my tights, the arse that blown out of my tights, and my hair burned into a man bun at the back. And believe me, man and bun do not belong in the same sentence. However, I digress. The way the wickets ran, this was cobbled together by ourselves, LPG gas running through the system into chrome pipes coming out of the stage with the fuse,
Right.
a fuse that had set it off on top. So we've come to the last song, and we're doing the big finale, and I'm standing there, arms outspread, with my back facing the audience. And I realized these idiots were pissed, and the flames were just going and going and going. So I thought, I'll put them out. So I put my hands on it. Of course, it was connected to 240 volts. So I'm going there.
Gee, he's lively.
But I've never come back with the last verse and chorus like that. I was electrified. And someone got their ass kicked after that, I'm telling you.
Now that's a great
Well,
story.
you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Absolutely.
Car accidents on the way back from the gig.
Yeah, we've been in a serious car accident that the car rolled. The roof came off the car and everybody was thrown out.
Oh, boy.
Except for the drummer Mick and the driver Mark, who was effects guy. But all the rest of us were all thrown out. Everybody lived. No one was seriously injured, but they looked round and it was, where is everybody gone? Oh my God, I've killed them all. Moment for a minute, but and it was an uncomfortable ride home with some in neck braces and.
Does it have a soft top?
No,
Right,
no, it didn't have a soft top. The top just came off.
What's that mean? Go on, roll
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So what's one piece of advice you'd like to pass on to a band that might just be starting out nowadays and just in the starting blocks that you wish you had
You should say
received?
that because there's a band in, is it Romania?
I don't know.
Some guys got in touch with us. They're a young band, maybe 20 at most, asked for permission to re-record Cheat On, which was one of Bengal's very early songs.
Mm.
Who are these kids grow up? It was sort of, yes, by all means, fly the flag, live the dream. Sort of just watch what they're doing. They played a couple of shows here and there, and it was more the, I don't know, they just like to look. They're a bit of a Buffon sort of hair sort of. I actually gave them some advice to say just make sure you're enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, it's a job, a task. You're not going to get any reward for it, and you won't be looking for money. By and large, you've got to get the enjoyment out of it. Enjoy the people that you work with and the places that you go, the people that you meet. That's really your life journey, your experience that gives you time to sit around and talk about things later.
I think he was just happy we contacted them back. He wished me happy birthday. I'm Seelen, I think his name. It's Selen.
Yeah. Selling Crimson.
Selling Crimson.
Something like that.
Stage name, isn't it?
That sounds like it. Selling Crimsons. Anyway, so yeah, just if you don't enjoy the people that you're working with and the stuff that you're doing, I've been in God knows how many bands over the years. I was in 9 at one point, all together at the same time, learning lots of songs, and I didn't mind it because it was a good variety of songs, and some of you played songs that you've always been dying to play, but just never had other people interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a kick. There's something that comes back to you by just taking part in it. Conversely, if you've got an unhappy group of people and it's a hassle, or there's animosity at rehearsals, etc., there's just no vibe. It's a lot of work to put in for. I'm not enjoying it anymore. I'm not enjoying being here, or I'm not enjoying sharing time with that person. So get it right.
I thought you
Do
loved
things-
everybody, Rob.
I do. That's why I was in 9 bands at one time. But I've made
Fucking
sure
bass
that before
player.
I say yes, that who's in the band, what's the go here?
Well, our personal philosophy back in the 80s and 90s was if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. And we used to blow the fucking shit out of everything we did. Less so these days because you're not allowed to blow shit up like we used to. Because in most of the pubs they won't allow it, so you end up with the fire brigade coming around with axes and stuff. And
Yeah.
Bill,
yeah, and
Exactly.
but my personal philosophy, just a bit of a tip is, if you're ever cleaning the toilet, keep your mouth closed as you're doing it. There's a tip for up and coming.
What was that? What your grandfather told you about carpentry?
My grandfather. Well, he was a lovely guy. He always said, when one door closes, another opens. But lovely bloke, but a terrible cabinet maker.
There you go.
But I think my father's was better
jokes,
than that. My father's was the best because he was a man of very few words, and he said, "Gordon."
All the time, dad jokes. Just can't stop him.
You want to see what it's like in the car with this guy? It's just,
Oh no. I work with a guy, Barry, and he is like that the entire day. So it's like 8 hours. By the end of the day, you're just like, come on, Barry, enough.
So you know how it is for me then.
I can relate.
And then when I do them, I say, Rob, that's a funny joke. That's what jokes are supposed to be. It's supposed to be funny. Not.
Yeah, if you're going to laugh at it yourself.
That's right. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? Right? So everybody's got one of those songs that comes on the radio, or maybe it comes on your streaming service, and you just go, "Damn, I wish I wrote that." What's that one song for you guys?
Well, Hotel California.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, that album's the biggest selling album in the world, isn't it? Not
from a financial point of view, it's a great one to be a part of. But Eagles, just generally speaking, there's your typical 3-chord acoustic strum songs that become worldwide hits because they've done it so bloody well. Generally speaking, there, but yeah, and that's just the top of my head. There'd be 1,000 that would come on, so that's my jam, as they say. Take that up. Once upon a time, it was anything off AC/DC's Back in Black for quite a while. You just knew it as soon as it started. It was big and heavy.
Great
Part
album.
of your childhood growing up. Then you get some obscure stuff. I was listening to some Spotify tracks on the way here, and I keep getting into Pretty Maids again lately, which was years ago. I really liked them, but they just stopped listening. And so
back to back.
Back to back.
Oh, that's the first time I've heard it actually.
Just had more obscure, I suppose, particularly from Australian standards. They weren't big names over here.
Show me my dog.
Oh, we made one of these earlier.
Where are you, bud? There you are.
Oh, hey, pup.
That's Boudica.
Everyone in this house has long blonde hair. So.
I don't know whether I have anything that I listen to and go, I wish I wrote that. Maybe one of the ABBA songs, maybe.
Right on.
Another Thing Coming.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a real good song.
To answer. Boudica, what's your favourite?
For technical ability, there's 1,000 Dream Theater songs that I'd say, how cool would it be to be able to write and play something like that? And yet, your standard, just good old-fashioned 4/4 beat rock song is gold.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we wrap things up here, guys, I'd like to do this little thing called This or That. It's just nothing to do with music, just some nonsense questions and top of the head answers. If you're ready, we'll just jump on in.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Let's start things off with road trip or plane ride?
Road trip.
I'll go road trip as long as Mark's not driving.
Beer or wine?
Yeah, because you get a laugh together. And it brings the band
I've
together.
I've got a captive audience for another 10,000 jokes. They can't go anywhere.
There you go. Next one, beer or wine?
Beer for me.
And I don't drink. Well, I don't drink. I'm the only one who really drinks in the band. The other guys are sort of pretty tame. But I drink spirits now, so I just drink straight gin, mostly.
So what about you?
I like wine, and I don't drink. And I like beer too, but I don't drink much beer these days. Too many carbs.
There you go.
Red wine makes me feel I've been run over by a fucking tram, and yeah, I'm finding white spirits a lot easier to drink more and have a less of a hangover.
There you go. Board games or video games?
Oh, I haven't done either for so long. I'd say video games.
I'll go board.
Yeah, I'd play board games if I had someone to play with. I guess. I still love Monopoly. So.
I've got piles of games like Stratego and things like that back from the day, you know.
Does strip poker on the board games count?
I'm an average chess player.
What about Naked Twister?
Naked Twister. I'd hate to see that with the Bengals. That would be a hideous.
Not bad as a bad game. I say me.
And finally, the last one here, guys. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah,
that'd be fine.
And beetroot on hamburgers over here as well.
Ooh, yeah. Right on. Gord and Rob from Bengal Tigers. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure to chat with you guys. Take a few moments and shamelessly self-promote.
Okay, we've got, for the international audience, we'll be in Japan from the 10th to the 13th of July, and then over to Europe.
2 gigs in Osaka and 1 in Tokyo.
Thank you. And then over to Europe for Breda in Netherlands, to Hell Club in Belgium again. Then over to the fabulous Headbangers Open Air Festival in Germany.
Which we're looking forward to.
And still maybe with a couple of days free. Our manager's desperately trying to get us a couple of other shows in on the way through there. But there's 7 or 8 show, a little mini world tour coming up, I guess. And here in Australia, we've got a few shows coming up at the Corner Hotel, Northcote Hotel, and
they're in Melbourne.
They're in Melbourne. Then we go up north from Victoria, Melbourne to Brisbane in Queensland for the Shred Fest.
That's a couple of hours flight away, so it's a few thousand kilometres away. So it's not Queensland's not a close.
Yeah, and where's the other one up there in Gold Coast? It's the Burleigh Heads Hotel, I think it is.
Well done, because they just changed venues, didn't they?
Yeah, so that's for the 1st and 2nd of May. Will be in Brisbane and Gold Coast. After there's more shows throughout the year, which I don't even know when they are yet, but there's a festival.
When are we going to Canada?
Yeah, well, can you tease up something in Canada so we can add to the list?
We've got to play in Canada.
Yes, we need to get you here in Canada. Absolutely.
We'd love it.
We'd love to come.
Absolutely. And don't forget, gang, click that like, share, and subscribe button. Keep up to date on everything Bengal Tigers. Keep up to with everything on CGCM Rock Radio and Rock Is Not Dead Australia. And we'll catch you again next time for another edition of Rock Talk.
Rah!